Okie dokie, here we go. This is my opinion on The Madness of Lord Ian Mackenzie, Book 1 of the Highland Pleasure series by Jennifer Ashley. Alright, here we go. Synopsis time. So this starts out with you get to meet Ian Mackenzie, who everyone thinks is a little bit odd. He is talking to a guy who is brokering a sale of Ming bowls. Ian has a fascination with them, and he finds out that the guy is going to be getting married to this heiress who Ian decides he wants to go check her out because this guy selling the bowl is a total douche. So he's like, I want to go see if she's genuine or false because this guy is a dick. So they end up meeting at an opera. Beth, who is a young heiress because she was a companion to an elderly lady. Again, a companion is like a paid friend slash servant that you hang out with. And the old lady died and left her entire fortune to Beth. So Beth has just seriously moved up the rankings in society. They meet, and this is when you start seeing that Ian, and you find this out through the book just reading it, he's on the spectrum. I think he probably has Asperger's, which was kind of interesting to read for a story where a character has a mental illness, and I think it's handled pretty well in this. I'll get into my problem in a minute. So they meet, and Ian ends up telling her that her fiance is not a good guy and he's just using her to get her money because he's in a ton of debt. And Ian then proposes marriage to her, and Beth is like, huh? What? We what? Ends up saying no, and she tells him that she's planning on going to France, go to Paris to study art because she is now a wealthy heiress with no husband, and why not? You also find out that Beth was married before to a vicar, so she's already done the marriage thing and she deeply loved her first husband. She doesn't think she's ever going to get married again. So go to her leaving for Paris, and then Ian ends up, he has this woman that he's keeping secret and safe, and she is murdered. So he freaks out, and his manservant Curry, they get him out of London and they send him to Paris, which he was already planning on doing, to go after Beth. Cut to Beth in Paris. She's standing there, trying to be an artiste, even though she has no training in art. And she ends up meeting one of Ian's brothers, Mac, who is a great artist. And also his wife, Isabella, and they're estranged from each other, and it's a whole thing. So she ends up spending some time with Isabella. Ian comes, and they start having my new favorite word for casual hookups, a liaison. So of course they start hooking up. It's sweet. There is a police officer who is hard on their heels. He's got a personal issue for taking down the Mackenzies. He's trying to use Beth against Ian. She tells him to fuck off. Ian and Beth end up in a situation where the inspector is going to say that Ian kidnapped Beth, and the only way around it is for them to say they got married, because then there's nothing wrong with a man and a wife just being together. So they get married, much to the chagrin of Ian's eldest brother, Hart, because, yeah, Hart is all about protecting the family. So they end up going back to London and then Scotland, where they hang out for a little while. Things seem to be okay. All the while, Beth is trying to unravel this mystery that's around Ian, that there was a murder 5 years ago that Ian was implicated with, but it all got hushed up because his brother is the Duke, and a very powerful man at that. Now there's another murder, and there's this detective, shenanigans going on back and forth, back and forth. Ian's brothers Hart, his eldest brother, doesn't trust her, but Ian is falling in love with her and she loves him, goes back and forth. Big climactic ending. Beth almost dies. It's very sweet. I think it has a pretty satisfying ending for the mystery. I think it wraps up really nicely. So yeah, there is a loose overview. I'm trying to stay away from spoilers for the ending because I do actually enjoy the mystery in this one. So yeah, I'm trying not to spoil that for you. So getting into the characters, I really like Beth. She's kind of quippy and a little cheeky, which is really fun. And with Ian, like I said, with him having Asperger's, that a lot of that flies over his head. As far as Ian goes, I liked him. I thought he was a really cool character. The one thing that I I had a little bit of, it's the idea of the love of the right person will fix you if you have mental health. This does kind of fall into that a little bit. Like Ian sees Beth and he's just like, yeah, she's the one. She's the one for me. But he's like, I can't love you. I don't know how to love. But then at the end, he does realize he loves her. It's one of the things that it did rub me a bit the wrong way, but I still think it was good overall. I still liked the story. I liked Beth and Ian's relationship. I thought it was really sweet. I liked the mystery aspect of it. I like his brothers because that's one thing they talk about is that the Mackenzies are all kind of mad. They have their own madnesses. Ian's just the most present. I liked it. This does continue on. There are a total of 11 books in the series. I don't think I'm going to listen to all 11 of them because this mostly focuses on the Mackenzies, but it does bounce around to some other stories too. The next book in the series is, I don't remember the title of it, but it is about Mac and Isabella, and I kind of want to read that one just because their whole thing is that they are estranged. Yeah, it was a elopement marriage of a young debutante, Isabella, marrying Mac, and then yeah, the morning after they started realizing that maybe this was a mistake, and then Isabella left Mac. It also sounds like Mac was a bit of a drunkard when they were first married, so it did not work, and it seems like they both kind of want to get back together, but they're both being stubborn about it, so I will probably listen to that one. It'll be in the next crop. Again, I enjoyed this one. It was very enjoyable. I'll give it probably 3.75 to 4 out of 5. I very, very much enjoyed it. But hey, that's just my opinion. If you disagree, that's totally cool. Leave your comments down below if there's something you'd like to see me take a crack at in the future. Up next is going to be Hardball. I have just started listening to it, so I will talk to you guys about that in the next couple of days.